Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Trent. This is Rams Talk. Thank you for watching the playoff edition. We finally know who are going to play in the playoffs. Going to be the Cowboys. Looking forward to it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. For everyone out there who's been commenting and subscribing, all the legacy guys out there, thanks so much for everything. You guys are great. Always love catching up with you whenever I have a new video. For everyone who just subscribed, welcome aboard. These are fun times, nervous times, exciting times, but needless to say, these are welcome times for Rams fans. Since our second year in a row in the playoffs, it's been quite a long drought before that, so this is always awesome. We had a better season than we did last year, hence we've made it further along in the postseason already by not even playing the game because we earned that first round bye. If you want to hit me up on Twitter, you can find me at Real LA Rams Talk. Now, before I get into this, I have a very special shout out to my niece, Leighton. I was at my nephew's birthday party this past weekend, and some guy I hadn't seen in a while came up and said, "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, Rams Talk. He didn't know what I was talking about, but my 7-year-old niece was standing right there, and she turned to him and she said, "Yeah, Rams Talk. You know, he does videos for every game, one before the game to talk about who he thinks is going to win, and one after the game talking about the game that was just played." And I turned to her and I was like, you watch Rams Talk?" She's like, "Yeah, all the time." So, Leighton, thank you so much for watching. I love you, and this episode is for you. So moving on, playing the Cowboys. Now, actually, before I get into the Cowboys, I just want to touch on the Chicago Bears. Now, out of all of the Rams Talk videos that I've done for every team that they played this year, the team with the most trolling fan base have been the Chicago Bears. Like the Saints, I mean, they brought some sass, but they were cool. Chargers, Seahawks, 49ers. But none, the Chiefs even, but no fan base was, I guess, as much like so much of a pain in my ass as the Chicago Bears fan base. And I have a bunch of Chicago Bears fans or friends, and they're all cool people, but on YouTube it's like they're crazy. They're really crazy, you know, and you can see what they're doing now about the kicker that missed the kick. Same kind of reaction they had for Steve Bartman for the Cubs. Chicago fans are pretty brutal. And part of me is, you kind of reap what you sow. Your team, you want validation. Your team had a great defense, but you don't score points. Trubisky, second year, he didn't have a second year like Goff's second year. Trubisky is not Jared Goff. You have an offensive-minded coach, yet your offense stunk it up. Your defense couldn't get a stop at the game last night when it mattered. Your special team, your kicker, I was looking forward to a rematch. But it looks like we'll see you next year when you come to the Coliseum in the regular season because your team is on the sidelines right now. And I'm not going to cry a tear over that. Anyways, I know I got some Cowboy fans here, so I'm not going to talk about the Bears too much. But this is kind of a matchup that all the old-timers will remember. Just before my time, in the 70s to the mid-80s, the Rams and the Cowboys met in the playoffs 8 times, and they're 4-4. They split the 8 games. So whoever wins this game will have the all-time playoff record at 5-4. So that's actually kind of a fun thing. I mean, these are 2 NFL blue bloods, and even though LA didn't have a team for 20 years, this goes to show that the last 8 times that they played in the playoffs, it was the LA Rams. So when people say that there aren't any fans in LA, yeah, there are. The Rams used to be here. I'm one of them. A lot of our dads and old timers will remember this. So we lost a generation or two in those 20 years, but it's coming back. And there's going to be a lot of Cowboy fans at this game. Tickets skyrocketed once the Cowboys were announced. They're currently sold out on Ticketmaster, and they're going for like $350 on StubHub. So Rams fans, if you're watching this, don't sell your tickets to Cowboy fans. We need to show up en masse and regulate there. And also, a little mini shout out to Jerry Jones. I know a lot of people hate the Cowboys just because they're the generic team that everyone, like the Lakers or the Yankees. I'm a Lakers fan, but like, it's like, oh, I'm a bandwagon guy, I'm going for Cowboys. So, I actually saw a bumper sticker the other day that said, Cowboys, Duke, Yankees, Lakers. It's like, what is that? What is that? It's like, did you just move here from another country and just pick whoever the best teams were? Anyways, but mini shout out to Jerry Jones. I like Jerry Jones, to be honest. I like a guy who's got personality, but he was key in bringing the Rams to LA. He and Kroenke are like billionaire besties. And Jerry Jones lobbied heavily and got a lot of votes for the Rams to move out here from St. Louis. So, like, as much as people might not like him or the Cowboys for that matter, you have to, if you're a Rams fan, you have to respect a guy who helped bring the team to LA. So these are, Kroenke and Jones are good friends, and now they're squaring off in the playoffs. So thank you, Jerry Jones, for your help in bringing the team back home. So this is kind of a weird game. It's a Saturday game, like 5 o'clock. Southern California, everyone's like, oh, we don't want to go to Chicago. We don't want to go here. We don't want to go there because the inclement weather. Well, it's scheduled to rain on Friday and Sunday, and Saturday is kind of sandwiched in there with, like, as of now, like a 10% chance. So, I mean, if anything, it's just rain. I mean, the Cowboys are a dome team, so it's not like they're a cold weather juggernaut team. So I think both teams are going to be evenly matched in terms of dealing with the weather. And hopefully it's not too rainy or wet. And I'm sure the grounds crew will take care of the field before the game. But that's something to think about. Now, one quick housekeeping note. Last week, the other teams interviewed 2 of the Rams' assistant coaches. Quarterbacks coach Zach Taylor interviewed with 3 teams, and passing game coordinator Shane Waldron interviewed with 1 team. So I don't know if you guys remember Matt LaFleur. He was our offensive coordinator last year. Then he left to be the offensive coordinator of the Titans, and now he just took the Green Bay Packers head coaching job. So McVay is just growing these coaches, assistant coaches that become head coaches and coordinators and everything. So there's a good possibility that we'll lose 2 more coordinators this season to other teams, but they already did their interviews, and if they have a second round, it'll happen after the playoffs. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, I can almost guarantee that if he hasn't already, he is going to, but I'm pretty sure he probably did last night. But Sean McVay came from the Redskins, Jay Gruden, head coach. Sean McVay obviously spent a lot of time going up against the Cowboys, being in the NFC East and all. And I can guarantee you he's been on the phone with Jay Gruden talking about matchups and, kind of spitballing ideas and getting some intel on the Cowboys. That's kind of an interesting thing that goes on behind the scenes. So just kind of cool to think about that. And, when I think of the Cowboys, I kind of feel like they were dead in the water until they got Amari Cooper. But the strength of this team is, this storyline is easy. Ezekiel Elliott led the NFL in rushing. Todd Gurley didn't play 2 games. And, they are a running team, first and foremost. The Rams suck at stopping the run. So this is going to be a classic strength versus weakness for Dallas's offense and Rams defense. Ezekiel Elliott averaged 4.7 yards per carry this year. The Rams allow 5.1 yards per carry. So something's got to give. I don't see the Rams just all of a sudden stepping up and being a stout run-stopping team. So that's really where they're gonna have to man up, because I feel like they match up well against the Dallas offense across the board. Talib could get matched up against Cooper. I'll take that all day. Gallup doesn't really, strike fear in my heart. Neither does Cole Beasley. They don't really have a tight end, so to speak. So it's like Zeke and Amari as their skill position players. And I don't trust Dak Prescott to really, light it up through the air. He's good. He's good, don't get me wrong. But he's not prolific. as a passer. He can make some plays happen with his legs, kind of like Russell Wilson, like he did, like Dak did against Seattle in the fourth quarter. So that's going to be the big time matchup to watch. Now, in terms of the Rams on defense, I feel like last year when they played, I remember the Rams came from behind. Greg the Leg had like 3 or 4 fourth quarter field goals to win that game in Dallas. But in that game, Aaron Donald almost always lined up on the opposite side against the other guard, not Zach Martin. And in this case, if Xavier Su'a-Filo, their guard out of UCLA, if he is still injured, it's going to be Connor Williams, a second-round rookie. And if so basically their guard and their center are kind of the weakness of their offensive line. Their 2 tackles and Zach Martin are top-notch. So where Aaron Donald could be lined up could be a big advantage for Aaron Donald and for the Rams. Something to keep an eye on. I'm going to do another game preview in a couple of days once I have some more time to kind of like check out get all the data and the stats and watch some more film on the Cowboys. These are just some initial thoughts. But in terms of their defense, in terms of Dallas's defense, now they've got several elite players on their defense. Demarcus Lawrence, that guy is no joke. He's an defensive end. They run a 4-3. And so he'll be lined up either against Havenstein or Whitworth. And whoever has that assignment, that's going to be a tough matchup for the Rams offensive line. Randy Gregory should be back, and he'll be on the other side. Their interior defensive linemen are good, but not great, and serviceable. And then where they really make their money is on their 2 linebackers, Leighton, Vander, Esch, and Jaylon Smith. Jaylon Smith, they took a gamble on coming out of Notre Dame. He had a jacked up knee, and now that's paying big dividends. And I remember Leighton Vander Esch, back when before the Rams traded for Brandon Cooks, and a lot of the mock drafts, it showed that the Rams, if Leighton Vander Esch was around during their pick, they would potentially take Leighton Vander Esch. I believe he's out of Boise State, or no, BYU, or one of those. And I mean, like, he's off the charts as a rookie. They have a lot of good team speed. They're really good against the run, and it's mainly because of those 2 guys. And if you look at the Seattle game from a couple days ago, they didn't really have too many hits and sacks on Russell Wilson, but they stifled the running game. They only had 73 yards, the Seahawks did, and they lead the NFL in team rushing. And I think what the Cowboys did is they said, hey, we're gonna contain their running backs and stop their running backs in the running game instead of going all out pressure on Russell Wilson. And it showed. I mean, they had 12, 13 more minutes of time of possession, and they really slowed the Seattle's run game down, and that's Seattle's identity. So, I mean, if they take a similar tack with the Rams and Todd Gurley / CJ Anderson, then that hopefully will give Jared Goff time to pick apart the secondary. Now, they have a great cornerback in Byron Smith, but other than that, their secondary is a little suspect. I think Jaylon Smith is good in coverage, so it'll be interesting to see if he tracks Gurley. All these things will be interesting the more I look into it, the more I talk about. But as always, every game to me boils down to turnovers. The Rams have a more decisive turnover differential in their favor. I think they're plus 11. Dallas is plus 3. So Dallas isn't forcing as many turnovers as the Rams are. And then, of course, time of possession, and then also red zone. The Rams are, let's see here, they're 18th in terms of red zone efficiency at 57%. Cowboys are 27th at 50%. So these are all things that work into the Rams' favor. And I really feel like that's where the Rams will set themselves apart, is through the passing game. And I really still do feel like they should pound the rock with Gurley and CJ Anderson and really try and get like 25 carries out of those 2 combined. But I feel like the jet sweeps, everything's in. This is going to be great. So many things, so many possibilities. I'm going to put out another video in a couple days and talk about more as certain things unfold. I mean, Gurley's going to practice this week. Joyner should play. Both of them should play. But this is going to be a great matchup, and looking forward to see what the Cowboys fans say. Please don't be jerks like the Bears fans. Come on, let's just be cool. And remember, my niece is watching. Okay, so be cool. And so that's it. Anyways, I hope you guys really like this video. Like I said, I'll be getting back to you in a couple days. Great to have the Rams playoffs actually starting now, and this should be awesome. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed and you like it, please do so. Watch some other content. Got it up there for you. And good time to be a Rams fan. So thanks for watching, and until next time, go Rams.